This is Fuzzy Road to Health, and I'm Fuzzy D. Before I get into the more technical information of this way of life, I want to briefly share my healing journey over the past couple of years. And stenosis. Also had extremely high blood pressure, prediabetes, extreme obesity, bipolar disorder, and others. My days consisted of sleeping 12 to 16 hours a day, eating, being helped to the bathroom. Bathing was so difficult, I went over a year without a shower, and several times I never left the apartment for a year or more. I needed a wheelchair to leave the apartment. Too many times I couldn't make it out of the bathroom or make it to the bathroom or even out of bed before drug-induced explosive diarrhea made a mess of everything. Falling asleep while trying to eat was a common occurrence. As you can imagine, I contemplated suicide on multiple occasions. One day I decided I had enough and began the process of getting off all the painkillers. It was a long process lasting about 9 months. After that, I started working seriously on shedding weight. I tried supplements, which helped me get started, then switched to a ketogenic diet. Now, this helped me shed a lot of weight, but it wasn't enough. My weight shedding journey stalled, and I still suffered from the autoimmune diseases. Now, this is when I was led to the Carnivore Diet. The results were almost immediate and profound. At first, I got what we call the keto flu. This was mostly due to withdrawal from sugar and carbs, as well as oxalate dumping. After 2 weeks, I noticed the joint pain and stiffness caused by osteoarthritis disappeared seemingly overnight. Then at 3 weeks, my myasthenia gravis symptoms went away. Blood tests and an appointment with my neurologist confirmed this a week later. So at 1 month carnivore, I was officially declared in remission for myasthenia gravis and was taken off the last of my autoimmune medication. Over the following months, my other autoimmune conditions seemed to go into remission as well. My other chronic health issues also began to heal one by one. About 6 months on carnivore, even my bipolar disorder symptoms went away. Even my Asperger's symptoms significantly lessened. My life had completely changed. At 8 months carnivore, we moved out of my wheelchair-accessible apartment of 13 years. I still have weight to shed, and I'm facing possible neck and back surgery to repair damage left by some of the other autoimmune diseases, but my life has dramatically changed. Recently, I've also been going through an intense program where I released tons of childhood trauma, which has changed how I see the world and react to daily events in my life. My life has radically changed for the better. Dreams I had long since given up are now back on the table again. Without God, my wife, and carnivore, I could never have done this. Now I'm compelled to help others find healing like I have. I am not here to bash the doctors that couldn't seem to help me. I believe most of them care about their patients, but due to many factors are unable to help most of us with these types of serious health issues. I don't have the same limitations placed upon me that they deal with, so I can help in ways they can't. The Carnivore Diet and Autoimmune Disease. By eliminating harmful foods that are commonly consumed in the standard American diet, we can begin to heal our bodies and reverse the damage done by years of eating harmful foods. What I mean by harmful foods is anything that is man-made. This includes heavily processed foods. If it comes from a cardboard box, it will damage your ability to heal and damage incurred by daily life. We'll get into details on how to eat a proper human diet a bit later. Here are some reasons why man-made foods are so harmful. 1. Sugar is highly addictive. It affects the same addiction center of the brain as cocaine and opioids. This is why it is so difficult to give up sweets. Sugar also spikes our insulin levels dramatically. Over time, this will cause metabolic dysfunction and can eventually lead to diabetes, to heal, and damage incurred by daily life. We'll get into details on how to eat a proper human diet a bit later. Here are some reasons why man-made foods are so harmful. 1. Sugar is highly addictive. It affects the same addiction center of the brain as cocaine and opioids. This is why it is so difficult to give up sweets. Sugar also spikes our insulin levels dramatically. Over time, this will cause metabolic dysfunction and can eventually lead to diabetes. Sugar and carbohydrate consumption over time will be stored as adipose tissue, also known as fat. 2. Seed and vegetable oils are inflammatory, and the long-chain polymers created by high heat used to extract the oils and the chemicals used to purify and lighten the oils and remove bad odors damage organs in the body. The combination of these oils and sugar begin to damage the mitochondria. The mitochondria lives in our cells and is responsible for healing and replacing all damaged and mutated cells in your body. Mitochondria is also responsible for converting food to usable energy called ATP. If the mitochondria becomes damaged, it can no longer heal damaged cells, and mutations like cancer can replicate unopposed. This is why cancer and chronic disease are running rampant in modern society. 3. Although vegetables contain many vitamins and nutrients, these are mostly unavailable to humans for absorption. Plants require the body to have special adaptations to properly break down the material and convert it to forms that can be absorbed as nutrition. This is why animals like ruminants have multiple stomachs that ferment and break down the plant fiber. Humans absorb less than 4% of the nutrients contained in plants. Consider that plants cannot run away or fight back to keep from being eaten, so most plants develop chemical defenses. Many of these chemicals are harmful to humans. Many vegetables we know and love contain toxins. Brussels sprouts, when tested, were found to have 136 known carcinogens. That's cancer-causing compounds. Many plants also contain oxalates, which cause oxidative damage to the human body. Plants in the nightshade family, like tomatoes, potatoes, eggplants, bell peppers, hot peppers, etc., contain inflammatory compounds, which is why nightshades are problematic for people with arthritis. 4. Fruits contain sugar, which consuming large amounts of over time can cause the same issues as the sugar mentioned above. If you're going to eat fruits and vegetables that contain seeds, make sure to only use ones that are vine ripened. Fruits and vegetables need to reproduce. Most reproduce via seeds. They don't want those seeds to be eaten before they become fully viable. To protect the seeds, the plant or fruit produces high levels of toxins to discourage animals from eating them too early. Once the seeds are fully viable, the plant or fruit will dump the toxins through their stems and out the root system. If the plants are picked green, as is the current custom, and allowed to ripen during shipping to the store and sitting on the shelves, means that the toxins are trapped in the fruit or vegetables. Vine-ripened fruits or vegetables had the opportunity to flush those toxins, making them much safer to eat. Consider that before modern shipping, mankind only had access to fruits and vegetables in their raw state and for a short time each year. The body can tolerate sugar in fruits and some vegetables easily for short periods of time. Consider that most of our history, mankind were hunter-gatherers and primarily ate meat and fats with occasional fruits and nuts and berries while they were in season. This meat-heavy diet is ancestrally appropriate and is what we are genetically designed for. This is when our bodies work best, and its natural ability to heal is at its peak. 6. Many legumes and some plant-based oils contain lectin. Lectin blocks one of two satiety signals. That's how we feel full. The first signal is triggered when we have eaten enough nutrient-rich food the body recognizes. The second signal is triggered when our stomach is stretched to capacity by the volume of food we have eaten. Many processed foods we buy have fillers that contain lectin. The effects of sugar and lectin conspire to pack on the pounds of fat. Also, any food that we consume that the body doesn't recognize gets converted to body fat. 7. Recent studies have proven that meat and fat is the most nutrient-dense food we can eat and promotes healing by providing our body with what the mitochondria craves the most. If we eliminate foods that damage this precious resource and eat foods that give it the fuel it likes the most, we set up the best possible conditions for healing our body. 8. When eating a carnivore diet, our need for vitamins are substantially reduced. Large amounts of vitamins are only required when plant-based foods are damaging our bodies. Many nutrients the body needs can't be found in plants. What vitamins and nutrients we actually need can all be found in animal products. This includes eggs, dairy, and fatty meat. Higher concentrations can be found in organ meats like liver, heart, kidney, brain, etc. Our ancestors let nothing go to waste. They ate nose to tail. When you hear stories of sailors dying from scurvy due to lack of citrus, it was because they were also consuming things like hardtack, flour, sugar, and alcohol. When consuming these things, our body needs vitamin C to repair the damage. I've been a strict carnivore for over a year. I never take vitamin C supplements or any other vitamin, and I have never had scurvy or other vitamin-related deficiencies. That said, I do take mineral supplements for my hypothyroidism. 200 years ago, chronic diseases like we see today were virtually unheard of, and obesity was vanishingly rare. After the Modern Food Guide came out in the 1970s, we began reducing red meat and fat and began eating large amounts of grains, sugars, seed and vegetable oils, and other processed foods. The general population began to eat these and got sick and obese. If you graph the increase in the use of these foods and compare it to the increase in chronic disease, autoimmune disease, cancer, and obesity, the lines rise in almost perfect unison. Let me be clear. Although this diet has put my autoimmune diseases into remission and healed many other chronic health issues, it is not a cure. If I go off the diet, I will get sick again very quickly. Consequently, I never cheat. It's too risky for me. I caution you to work with your doctor. Don't adjust medications without talking to your doctor first. Get blood work done often and discuss results with your doctor. Many doctors will try and tell you this diet is dangerous because they haven't looked at the research. The average doctor gets less than 40 hours of nutritional training, most of which is wrong or deliberately misleading. Keep in mind that almost all modern medical schools are heavily funded by pharmaceutical and food companies, which means these entities have undue influence of what is taught and the direction of research done at universities. That said, most doctors and specialists will still do blood testing and go over results with you. If they're unwilling to do this, it might be time to find a new doctor. The diet I follow is a strict elimination diet that is a subset of the ketogenic diet. It is called carnivore, or in my case, I follow the lion diet. This means I eat only animal products, mainly meat with 30% fat by volume, salt, water, and electrolytes. Eggs and dairy are allowed, but since I am also shedding weight, I stay away from dairy and can't digest eggs very well. This means no vegetables, no plants of any kind, no fruits, no sugar or other sweeteners, most importantly, no seed or vegetable oils or processed foods of any kind. Consider that for thousands of years, our ancestors primarily ate fatty red meat. They were hunters and gatherers. They only got nuts and berries for a couple of weeks out of the year, and those naturally occurring fruits and nuts were far different than what we have today. Also, fruits don't want their seeds being eaten before they are viable, so they protect their seeds with high levels of toxins. Once the plant fully ripens and the seeds are viable, the plant wants the seeds to be spread for reproduction, so they flush the toxins. If you must eat fruits or vegetables, make sure they are vine ripened. When picked green and allowed to ripen during shipment and sitting on the shelf, they still have all the protective toxins intact. Toxins can only be flushed through the plant's connection to the roots. There are cultures today that are primarily carnivore and are very healthy as long as they stay away from Western foods. The Maasai tribe in Africa and the Inuit, or Eskimos, are just two examples. Best way to start carnivore or low-carb diets. There are many ways to get started with low-carb or carnivore diets. Based on my own experience and the experience of many others I've talked to that adhere to this way of eating, I recommend starting slowly. Give your body time to adjust to the higher levels of meat and fat and the elimination of toxins from the standard American diet. The only thing I recommend quitting immediately is all types of refined sugar. You will go through sugar withdrawals in the form of headaches, cravings, and feeling jittery. This is expected. Sugar is physically addictive and the cravings can take some time to fade. For me, the cravings took a couple of months to go away. Some people report periods of cravings lasting up to 6 months. Part of the adjustment to low or zero carb lifestyles happen in the digestive tract. We have a microbiome living in our gut. This consists of bacteria and enzymes adapted to the food we have been eating. As we begin to reduce complex carbohydrates, plants and oils specific to those foods will starve. The starving bacteria will generate cravings, and as they die off, they will create mild toxins. All these can produce flu-like symptoms, which is why I recommend shifting slowly to minimize these issues that we euphemistically call the keto flu. Another consequence of our body adapting to more animal proteins and fat can be diarrhea. This too is expected and will go away in time. When fully fat adapted, you will also find a significant change in bowel movements. The high absorption rate of meat and fat leaves little waste compared to other foods. It is not uncommon to only need to defecate a small amount every 2 or 3 days. You aren't constipated. This is pretty normal. If after 3 months of being carnivore, you are still having diarrhea, you may want to get some blood work done to see if there's something else going on with your health. A low thyroid, for instance, can cause both diarrhea and often causes a sharp rise in triglyceride levels. Don't let your doctor convince you it's because of the red meat and fat. This does not cause high triglycerides. But it can raise your LDL cholesterol. When not eating anything but animal products, LDL cholesterol is actually a good thing. The brain and other organs need cholesterol to function properly. The brain contains 25% of the cholesterol in your body. I will provide a link to a file that I created, which has links to randomized controlled trial studies and prove high LDL cholesterol is not harmful to the body. If you want to learn more, I recommend a couple of books. Lies My Doctor Told Me by Dr. Ken D. Berry and The Carnivore Diet by Dr. Sean Baker. Doctors I recommend checking out are Dr. Ken D. Berry, Dr. Sean Baker, he's an orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Anthony Chafee, who's a neurosurgeon, Dr. Timothy Noakes, who specializes in diabetes and low-carb diets, Dr. Christina Mathewson, she's a naturopathic doctor specializing in low-carb and natural medicine, and Dr. David Diamond, MD, who's also a PhD, specializes in low-carb and heart disease research. I will link full lists of recommended books on health and research that I'll place in the description below. So here's some frequently asked questions. Question: don't we need vitamins from plant sources? No. First of all, 96% of nutrients and vitamins in plants cannot be utilized by humans. Additionally, many of the vitamins people require are to overcome damage done by plants and processed foods. Consider that unlike animals, plants have no defense against being eaten except chemical or static defenses like thorns or tough bark. These chemical defenses are harmful to humans over time. Brussels sprouts contain 136 known human carcinogens. They are in small doses but accumulate over time. Nightshade plants like tomatoes, potatoes, eggplants, etc. will cause inflammation. In my case, they trigger my osteoarthritis. Question: what's the issue with seed or vegetable oils? So these oils are heated while being processed. They're also chemically treated. They damage the body in many ways. They create long-chain polymers which damage our body and make our arteries more susceptible to clogging and leaking cell membranes. Question: why no sugar or sweeteners? Sugar causes many issues in the body. First, it affects the same addiction center of the brain as opioids and cocaine, and therefore highly addictive. Food companies know this, which is why they put it in almost everything. Sugar and seed oils also damage the mitochondria. The mitochondria's main job is to seek out damaged and mutated cells. It repairs damaged cells and destroys mutated cells like cancer and replaces them. Damaging our mitochondria slows or prevents our bodies from healing naturally. Sugar and carbs also cause metabolic dysfunction over time, and this can cause diabetes. Question: doesn't fatty meat cause heart disease? The answer to this is a resounding no. Meat and fat gets the blame for what sugar does. The basis of this belief in the medical community is based on flawed research done by Dr. Ansel Keys in the 1950s. He did a 22-country study of diet and heart disease. When he published his paper, he only included 7 countries' results. He left out the rest of the results because they didn't agree with his theory. Because of his influence in the medical community at the time, it was accepted by powerful government entities who silenced any dissenting opinion or research from other doctors. Current research completely debunks his theories. For more information, check out studies done by Dr. David Diamond, PhD, about cholesterol and heart disease. Question: will eating too much meat raise my cholesterol? Yes, it will raise your LDL cholesterol, but high LDL cholesterol is not dangerous when you're not eating processed foods and sugar. Sugar and processed foods alter the molecular structure of the LDL cholesterol. That change in structure makes it smaller and more dense. Undamaged cholesterol actually protects your arteries and heart from buildup. When altered, it becomes dangerous again. Check out research again done by Dr. David Diamond. Question: why do I crave leafy greens or vegetables after going carnivore? These cravings are due to the microbiome in your digestive tract. Right now you have microbes and enzymes for digesting a variety of foods, including the green leafy veggies. As they become starved, they generate those cravings. Once your microbiome adjusts, the cravings will go away. As the no longer used bacteria die off, they'll release small amounts of toxins and your body begins dumping oxalates as well. This can make you have flu-like symptoms for a week or two. Sugar withdrawals can also cause major cravings and headaches. The first 30 days transitioning to carnivore can be a little rough until your body becomes fat adapted. This is normal and why I recommend transitioning to carnivore slowly. This is why it is recommended to try carnivore for 90 days. It takes that long to really start feeling good again and have lots of energy. Until your body gets used to producing needed glucose from fat, your energy levels may suffer. Once adapted, however, you'll have energy to burn all day, even from one meal. Well, I'd like to thank you for joining me today. Without you, this channel would not exist. I really appreciate you being here. If you feel I've earned it, please take a moment and click that like button and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss future videos coming out on this channel. Thanks for hanging out with me today. See you next time.